What's up, everyone? Uh, these past 24 hours have been probably one of the worst experiences of my life. I laugh about it now, but I was not laughing about it yesterday, that's for sure. I'm about 70% better. I actually did go to work for a few hours, but I don't want to get other people sick, and I'm dealing with some upper respiratory coughing problems, so just said it's not worth it. And I told my manager, and he's like, just go home. And my other coworker, she's a nurse, she also, I found out she went home as well, so definitely something's going around. So anyway, this past week has been very, very challenging, and yesterday just it hit the max. So to make a long story short, I think I told you in the previous life update video, my daughter went to daycare, and she goes once a week, and then she got sick. Now, that was a concern that I had, but what didn't register and what I didn't think about was, and this is pretty common, happened to my coworkers, once she got sick, what do you think happened? Well, she started coughing, it got passed along to me. So this past week I've been dealing with the common cold, but nothing to the point where I can't manage up until yesterday, Sunday, early morning, more specifically around 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was dealing with a sore throat, a little bit of coughing, and just some other issues. So I was taking a good amount of medicine, and I think too much medicine, it can be counterproductive. And I think that's what happened. So I was taking 500 milligrams of acetaminophen, and acetaminophen is really great for pain control, and especially for if you have a sore throat. I'm very prone to getting sore throats, so I was taking the maximum dosage, which is 1,000 milligrams every 6 hours, not to exceed 4,000 milligrams in a 24-hour span. So I was taking a little bit under 4,000, and that may have overdone it. So anyway, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I go take a piss, and when you have a sore throat in the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, your sore throat's usually worse because you haven't been swallowing, you've been sleeping, and your throat is dry. So my throat was on fire. I took 2 more pills of acetaminophen, another 1,000 milligrams. And what happened? Well, on the label it says not to exceed that because it's bad for your liver. And what happens is, with a lot of medication, if you don't have a lot of food in your system, it can aggravate your stomach. So obviously it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and my last meal that I had prior to that was about 6 or 7 p.m. the night before, Saturday night. So during that span, I didn't have much food in my system, but I wanted to take the acetaminophen. Anyway, I took the pills, and there wasn't enough padding in my stomach, and what did it do? It caused me to become extremely nauseous. So I immediately ran downstairs at 3 o'clock in the morning. I had a banana because I knew that I needed some padding. So what happened there? This is where the catastrophic events started occurring. After that, I threw up, and then I shook it off, brushed my teeth, went back to sleep. Some of it's kind of a blur, all the details. I wake up again Sunday morning. So that was at 3 a.m. And then I woke up on Sunday morning, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning or so, and I have my protein shake. I've done the videos on that, the protein powder, mixed berries, bananas, oats. And I felt like, if I eat this or if I drink this, it'll help me get a little bit more energy. So what happened then? I threw up again. Now I'm like, okay, do I have a stomach bug or what's going on? Then I drink a Powerade. I threw that up. Drink some water. I threw that up. So if you notice a pattern, so while that was occurring all day, I threw up about 4 or 5 times yesterday. 1, it's causing me to become dehydrated. 2, when you're that dehydrated, you lack a lot of energy. And 3, you lose your appetite. So I was trying to put down water, but I couldn't. So I was very dehydrated, extremely weak, and I was barely eating. For the entire day yesterday, all I ate was 2 pieces of white bread. I usually never eat white bread, but excuse me. I usually never eat white bread, but I went to the grocery store to get some things, and usually I got some potatoes, some bananas, some saltine crackers, and some white bread. And that's like the only thing that wouldn't repulse me. I got that for me and my wife. So anyway, I had 2 pieces of white bread, which is 140 calories, and I had 2 small bowls of white rice. So you're looking at about, at most, 400 calories for the entire day. And it makes you wonder why I was so weak. So 400 calories the entire day. Oh, not to mention, also freaking had a little bit of diarrhea, just one bout, thank God. So I'm completely malnourished, completely dehydrated, completely out of energy, only on about 400 calories. Water-wise, I only drank about, I would say, 6 to 8 ounces the entire day, which is not good, but I just couldn't put anything down. It was very hard. And of those 6 to 8 ounces that I drank, I puked it all out. So nonetheless, I was running completely on empty, completely wiped out. Luckily, my wife, for the majority of the day, she was taking care of Bree, and I was just in no condition. And I have a very high pain tolerance, and I skip my workout. So you know me. If I skip a workout, you mean it's freaking serious. I told my wife that. I was like, I don't like to miss workouts. So when I miss a workout, something is up. And she's like, yeah, I agree. You're jacked up. So anyway, she took care of Bree, and while I was just laying in bed like all day, just the energy was just getting lower and lower and lower. I mean, like you play video games and you have that power bar, right? You play like a fighting game, your energy bar. Mine literally was on the red. It was like 5% or less. I couldn't even. It was hard to even just get up without being out of breath. I have a 2-story house. Going up and down the stairs, I was completely spent. I was just like almost knocked out. But luckily, my wife was taking care of the baby. This is where it gets a little bit more complicated. At around mid-afternoon, I don't know, 4 or 5 p.m., my wife comes yelling at me saying that she feels nauseous. So I take the baby. She goes and she starts throwing up. So now she's throwing up. She's weak. I'm throwing up. The baby, luckily, considering she was actually in a pretty good mood, so I don't know if she just passed everything off to us. She was luckily not in one of those crazy moods, so that helped. That's a small silver lining of this whole story, and I'm so glad my baby's okay. But I just can't. I just felt so helpless, honestly. I couldn't ask my family. They're all in Texas. My wife messaged my mother-in-law, who's been helping out a lot, and she didn't get back to us for a few hours. But when she did, my wife said that she had been throwing up the day before. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. Our hands are tied. We're both just like kneeling over with a newborn baby, feeling just helpless and just completely defeated. It really, I always mention how I don't, that you shouldn't take your health for granted, and this is a classic example. It's just amazing how, I mean, just a couple weeks ago, I benched 220 pounds, which is not like a lot, but but personally for me, it was a good lift. I go from that to just a complete 180, and just goes to show you that your health is just, you can't take it for granted. If someone, like yesterday, if someone hypothetically told me that I won the lottery during the state in which I was at my worst, which is pretty much all day, I'd probably do a little quick smile, and then I'd probably just kneel over and just pass out. It was that bad. I'm not trying to be melodramatic about it. So, and the other weird thing is that I didn't even plan on wanting to even go to work today, because I think it's just a combination of everything that has occurred. Now, granted, I do have a few theories. One being, the main theory is that how I got this sick is just from the daycare, from my baby passing it to me, and so. That's one theory. Another theory is that we had a blackout for about 15 hours last week, which is a freaking pain in the ass. I mean, this has happened on multiple occasions at my neighborhood, so I've been wanting to put a complaint in. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but I think some of the food may have possibly gone bad, but I did buy some ice, so I don't think that's it. The other theory is that I did get a flu shot last Wednesday, and I've spoken about this in previous videos, but even though the experts say that the flu shot doesn't cause you to get the flu, I beg to defer because I don't think it's coincidental. So I think that's a possibility. But the other thing is that my immune system was already compromised prior to getting the flu shot. So then when I got the flu shot, you can get flu-like symptoms from the flu shot. So I think with the flu-like symptoms that came about from the flu shot, along with my compromised immune system prior to getting the flu shot, and on top of it, I've been overexerting myself for the past 5 months since becoming a father, and there have been days when my stress levels have just been through the roof to the point where I don't like to complain about it, but I've had some just like mental breakdowns. I'm just being straight up honest with you. Talk about that in another video, because you're just so stressed out. So I think an accumulation of all this and my body just completely tapped out, you know, kind of like a fighter in UFC, right? You get choked out, you just tap out. And I think just an accumulation of all that, just everything just came to fruition, and just the house of cards just collapsed. So that is it. The good news is that about 70% better. My energy levels are better. But every ailment that you could think of, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't catch a break. Lack of energy, dehydrated, no appetite, had the shitters. I had the migraine, constant coughing. Everything you could think of is it was just everything. But I don't know. Have you ever experienced anything like that? I'm sure you have. And I did want to, if you made it this far in the video, what is one, how should I say it? What is one physical ailment that you can't tolerate as much? The lack of energy and the feeling like I needed to puke, being nauseous was probably one of the worst things that I've had to deal with. Sore throat sucks. The migraine does hurt too, but they all suck basically. I don't know what I'm saying. So anyways, that's been my past 24 hours. It's just been absolute gonzo. It's been nuts, but I'm doing better. Hopefully I can just recover from this, get back to putting out content, get back to just getting back to being normal, and getting my body back to equilibrium, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and just be very careful if if you get sick. Just stay tough and be positive. That's my time. Bye.